MCTV, Multicultural Television Network, canal 283 sous Comcast. Oui, li possible et nous voulons faire ensemble avec vous. Chaîne déjà disponible, MCTV, canal 283 Comcast, staff technique sous place, équipement dernier cri installé. MCTV couvrit toute Massachusetts. Sauti Lynn pour arriver Bridgewater, en passant par Somerville, Cambridge, Medford, Everett, Malden, Boston, Waltham, Dedham, Milton, Quincy, Randolph, Stoughton, Sharon, Vermont, Rockland, Brockton. Une opportunité pour nous produire propre émission panneau, live ou en différé. Surtout avec assistance technique, une équipe professionnelle chevronnée pour aider à produire des émissions de qualité. Studio MCTV localisé dans Randolph, 247 North Main Street, Harbor One Bank Building, téléphone 781 986 1000. Prix abordable. Pour information, relais Yves Cajuste 781 986 000 ou bien 508 498 02 00 ou bien encore Julio Midi 617 470 19 12. Nous invitons tout haïtien garder MCTV canal 283 Comcast dans l'émission Caméra Mosaïque préparée par Yves Cajuste samedi et dimanche soir 8h-10h dans la région métropolitaine Boston. Et pour même dans la zone métro sud, Brockton, Randolph, Milton, Waltham, Dedham, émission pour la vie joue nous chaque dimanche de 8h à 9h du soir.
Non, moi c'est Linda Dorcena Forry, moi suis un sénateur dans Massachusetts, so I'm content que je là avec nous aujourd'hui, so I'm happy to be here with all of you today. I want to thank the Haiti Fund, want to thank the Barr Foundation, the Kellogg Foundation, and want to thank all of you for coming here today to participate in the second annual Haiti Funders Conference. We heard earlier in the day in terms of the conversations in the panels about the different issues that Haiti's facing, and how can we, as supporters of Haiti, as friends of Haiti, really help Haiti build back better, really support infrastructure, really help in building capacity. And so there's so many issues, and I just want to thank you all for being here and taking the time. I'm first generation Haitian American. My parents came here in the late 60s and really taught me and my family the importance of embracing our Haitian culture. So my première génération américaine, parents moi sorti Haïti, Léogane à Laval et Jacmel en 1960, mais comme j'ai grandi dans Boston, à Dorchester, ils ont vraiment fait nous prend fier de tête nous de culture haïtienne nous pour nous parler créole. So I'm content que m'ka là. But we know that the devastating earthquake that hit Haiti 4 years ago, there was no doubt a catastrophic effect. As you heard from the panel, people still are under tents, about 200,000. Aid and construction is just coming around in terms of development. But one of the things that I heard really briefly as former Representative Marie St. Fleur, who was a state rep here in Massachusetts, the first Haitian American elected, talked about was, and I think it was Dr. Zamo who said this, who said that when the construction's done, for instance, with the Healing Hands of Haiti, and the building's beautiful and the equipment's beautiful, but people leave and infrastructure needs to be rebuilt. Have we trained the folks who are on the ground? Have we trained Haitian Americans in supporting organizations and nonprofits that understand the need of the communities and neighborhoods around this amazing country called Haiti? Only 600 miles from our shores off of Florida, 600 miles, so close to us. So I just want to thank you all again for being here, for your commitment to helping to rebuild Haiti, but helping to support the infrastructure, which is critical. I mean, living here in our incredible country, we know presidents or administrations come and go. But if we build the infrastructure of a government, if we support the Ministry of Health, if we support Ministry of Education, Ministry of Public Works, the whole nine, then we know that's how we're going to be able to continue. So the dialogue must continue, not just with nonprofits together, but with government, with the administration to make sure that the investment, that the resources poured into Haiti can continue to pay back 10 times fold, 100-fold. And so even as we talk about, you know, our government in terms of the aid, right, not being allowed to work with the government or go directly and really build coalitions and talk about strategy, that is something we have to work on. So if it's something that I must work on as a legislator here in Massachusetts, working with our incredible colleagues around the country, the National Haitian American Elected Officials Network, there's about 27 Haitian Americans of Haitian descent around our country who are elected in public office. And so if we need to work on changing that to allow the dialogue to happen, that's what we need to do. So now back to why you are sitting here. And it is really an honor to have the Prime Minister of Haiti join us here this morning. So he's a native of Port-au-Prince. I won't even go through his whole bio because I'm sure you know it, but I'll just do some key points. In 2011, he served as the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Worship and was special advisor to the President of Haiti, advising principles on matters of investment and socio-economic development. He's a former businessman named Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young in May 2008. He is well known for his entrepreneurial spirit and dynamism, right? Dynamism. He co-founded the company Global Voice Group in 1998, which is now a worldwide provider of technology solutions. And he is a graduate of Barry University in Miami, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in political science and earned a master's degree with honorable mention in business management from St. Thomas University. As you know now, he is the Prime Minister of Haiti. And so it is really an honor for him to be here today, to be able to have the discussion and the dialogue with all of you in terms of funders, people who care about what's happening on the ground in Haiti. But again, it's a continuation, it's building a partnership and continue to collaborate. And as I wrap up and I bring them up, we know the issues continue, right? They do continue. And so the recovery of the earthquake, 1. The cholera outbreak, 2. Here in Massachusetts, working on temporary protective status for Haitians who came here during that time. So there's several issues that we need to continue to fight and work on. And really briefly, as I bring them up, earlier in the conversation, it was talked about, you know, the Dominican Republic, not popular, but not popular because of the ruling, right, of the courts in terms of the discriminatory practices, the injustice of being done to Dominicans of Haitian descent. And so the work continues, and I hope that we will continue to partnership, not just today, not just tomorrow, but for the long term of the betterment and the development of Haiti. So thank you all so much, and it is an honor and a pleasure to introduce to you His Excellence Prime Minister Laurent S. Lamothe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be with you today. I recognize some faces in the attendance, and I want to thank you for everything that you're doing for my country and for staying the course. Certainly hasn't been an easy road, but helping the most vulnerable is a noble cause. And I thank you for it on behalf of the Haitian people. And I thank the Boston Foundation. I thank all of you, different private philanthropies here today, and friends of mine from Haiti that have traveled. I thank the Minister of Health. And I want to especially thank Senator Linda Dorcena Forry for the introduction, for the great introduction. I thank you for it. So I'm deeply honored to be here today at the Boston Foundation's Haiti Fund event. I bring with me the gratitude of the people and government of Haiti for all the good work that this foundation has been doing and hopefully will continue to do over the next few years. It is with great optimism and pride that I have witnessed the transformation of investments into a sustainable environment that empowers Haitians and shapes our economy. My government is committed to a clear vision that comes to guide most of the actions that we're doing today. The main objective of my government, of course, is to bring Haiti to the next level, is to develop the country, to put the country on the track of sustainable development. And in order to do so, we put together a plan, which is called the Strategic Development Plan of Haiti. And with this plan, we hope for Haiti to be an emerging nation by 2030. In order to reach these goals, we are counting a lot on private investments and coordination of private philanthropy. When President Martelly came into office, one of the main objectives was to coordinate such great amount of goodwill for Haiti in order to serve the Haitian people. And in order to do so, it hasn't been easy, and we're still working at it. We put together the Office of Coordination of Non-Governmental Organizations and Philanthropies. So, speaking to all of you today is an important step into integrating the different actors into creating more impact on the Haitian people, creating more impact on the development of the country. And many people are helping Haiti. You know, private philanthropies, international aid organizations, other countries, but we're not going to succeed until we start helping ourselves. And this is what we are aiming at doing by, one, leading and guiding the country to good governance, leading and guiding the country towards a dream and a vision of having a better country for our children, leading and guiding the country towards bringing private investment, bringing private thoughts, private capital for sustainable development. We are also doing basics such as increasing customs revenues and increasing tax revenues, as those are the two main sources of Haiti's development and everything we can count on today to pay salaries, build hospitals, and continue moving the country forward. So it is important that those are strengthened, that the management is efficient, and this is what we're trying to do. We've found a situation that was very complex. After the earthquake, there was 1.5 million people living in tents, as you must know. Today, we managed to relocate 91% of those. There is only 9% left, and we're working every day, and every day we are removing people from the subhuman conditions that they were living in tents into neighborhoods that they can have a decent life. The government has built so far a project of 3,000 social housing to move the most vulnerable and victims of the earthquake. And we are building 4,400 more, and the goal is to build 10,000 homes and to start building 10,000 homes before the terms of President Martelly ends. It is important that the private philanthropy effort are given the proper recognition and also the proper coordination to make sure that the aim, which is to help Haiti really achieve its end, which is strengthening the government's ability to deliver the aid to the people that need it the most and do it in a sustainable way. For example, we have a deficit of 4,000 schools in the country. But those 4,000 schools need to be done with the coordination of the Ministry of Education. And the Ministry of Education needs to strengthen itself in order to receive the aid and assistance. But the reason why I'm saying that coordination is important is because as we need the school and we take it, we need to be able to manage it and maintain it. And we need to have the proper staff for it. We need to have the proper teachers for it. We need to have the teachers trained. Now we go into a certification of teachers, and we need to have the school, once we receive the building itself, we need to be able to staff it and so that the children can enjoy a decent education. So this is where the coordination with the private philanthropy is key and is paramount to our development. And we will have over the next few months a workshop. I don't think we've done that. We've done it with NGOs, but we haven't done it with private philanthropy, which is a coordination workshop as to the funds that are allocated, the funds that are left to go into priorities of the different ministries. Because as the Minister of Education was saying, we need to have the grant, we need to have the school, but the school needs to be able to be sustainable, and the ministry needs to be able to take care of the school. And it has to be in the ministry's budget, and the proper amount of teachers need to be allocated for. So it is essential that private philanthropy and the government work together into achieving the aim. And that aim is certainly in your different areas, is for the Haitian people ultimately to benefit from all the hard work and effort that you're putting in raising the funds that you are for Haiti. Because raising the fund is one, having effective use of it in Haiti is essential to us, because we need all the schools that you're giving, we need all the health centers, we need all the farmer association that you're helping, and we need it the most. But we want to use it in a more efficient way so that really the most vulnerable can benefit. We had, in the effort of coordination, we will also open a customer service type of bureau in the customs service for many of the philanthropy, the NGO organizations, to have faster access, one, to the customs service, and second, to get your items out of customs quicker. Because, you know, I met with a few of you, and I hear a recurring theme, which is delays at customs. But rest assured that you're not the only ones dealing with delays at customs, because my office sometimes deals also with delays at customs. So we are working on a system that, on a systemic approach to solving that issue. One where you will have less headache and more results in a quicker turnaround. So they are presenting that plan to me. One where organizations, reputable organizations that are working and that are constantly shipping, will have a temporary access to fast track access to getting your stuff out of customs, which should again improve the efficiency of how you're working in Haiti. The government is doing numerous development projects in order to bring a new Haiti. We've started with education. The education system currently, when President Martelly came into office, there was 91% of the schools were private schools, so children of the less fortunate had to pay their way in schools. Today, 1.4 million of them have free tuition. So that increased the access from 55 to 88% of children attending school today. We are working at building schools. We're working at training the teachers. We just increased the pay of those teachers varied from 30 to 60% of their salary, which is still too low, but we have to do better. But that was a starting point. We have provided free transportation for the children that used to have to walk anywhere from 2 to 5 kilometers to get to school and back. We're working on improving the school meals by sourcing it locally from local farmers to create more jobs, stimulate the economy. We've done that, and we're going to continue to do that as a good policy. The diaspora, the Haitian diaspora, we have a big role for you and for the development of our country, because this is where our brain drain is in the diaspora. 85%, Haiti is one of the leading countries in the world with a brain drain of 85%. As I need people to help me, as the Minister of Education needs people to help him, as the Health Minister, you know, we have 8.5%, we have 85%, 8.5 brain out of 10 in the diaspora, mostly in Boston, in Miami, in New York. So we need the mobilization of the diaspora, not only to send money to their families, but also to contribute to the development of your country. Because Haiti is a special place. And all of you who've been there, and I can, you know, I've seen, again, now that I'm looking around, I'm seeing many faces familiar. Everybody wants Haiti to get better. Everybody wants the country to do better. So we have an incredible amount of goodwill around the world. And from top leaders down to private philanthropies, down to everybody in this room. And I take this very seriously. And we have a government that's a working group of people that put in 20-hour days for this country to get better. And it hasn't been easy, and we knew it was not going to be easy. But we have the determination, the dedication, and the will to get things to make Haiti a better place. And we've started to do so. We've started to do so. The macroeconomic situation is much better. We've managed to cut the inflation in half. The inflation is at around 3%. Our economy grew at 4.3% compared to 2.9% in 2012. We've managed to increase our exports by 6%. Our agricultural production in the rice sector has increased 18%. Today, we're the 6th largest exporter of t-shirts to the United States. I don't know if you knew that. But we want to do better. That's why we're working with the U.S. government in order to extend the Hope Help Law, in order for more people to come and do business in Haiti. Haiti has become one of the most secure places in the Caribbean. Why? Because we reinforce our police forces. Before President Martelly was there was 9,000 officers. Today there is 11,158 officers. Before President Martelly was there, most officers had no weapons, and when they did, they had no bullets in the weapons. So how do you provide security if you don't have the right equipment? The force was demoralized. So very quickly, we put together the national development of the police plan from 2012 to 2016 that calls for an increase to 16,000 officers on the streets. And when you go to Haiti next time, you will see a much bigger presence on the street. We have a new tourist police that's around all the hotels, shops, and restaurants. We have a new community police trained by the New York, the NYPD. So I don't know if the Boston police is planning on doing some training. But you know, the idea, it fits into the grand plan of making Haiti a better place. And for it to be a better place, all of you need to be able to think of Haiti not only as a place of doing philanthropy, which is what we needed at the time, but for us to get better, we need to have all of you, think of Haiti as the next place where you want to spend your vacation with your family. So, and then when you get back, you have a great time. You go back and you tell your friends, and then you develop a much larger tourism industry that brings in better recognition for the country and tax revenue for the state in order to keep developing the country. So, what I'm alluding to is the philanthropy side is important, but in order to have a sustainable development for a country, we need to transform Haiti into a place where all of you, the love you have for the country, you transform it into spending your vacation there, owning a home there. We have the most beautiful beaches, certainly in the Caribbean, and the most beautiful mountains for you to own homes there, for you to open a business there, hire people there, and continue doing so. And if that goodwill is transformed into one investment per person that's here, then Haiti will be a better place tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, because then it will be permanent. So that's why I'm encouraging all of you to go there. So the important pillars of our development strategy is to attract investment, and that's what I was talking about. Of course, job creation, because we have too many people that are out of work. So we've done what we could with what we had. We're trying to do a lot with little. We have over 71,000 jobs in the public administration, and we're trying to create temporary jobs and long-term jobs at the same time. Long-term jobs through the right investment mechanism, having people invest, enjoying the investment code of Haiti, which provides a 15-year tax-free investments, tax-free period, and many kind of other benefits for investing into the country, again, as a vehicle for job creation. And promoting what we have the most vibrant culture. You saw the news reports about Haiti having the Santa Maria, for us, they might have found the Santa Maria close to the shores of Haiti, close to Cap Haitian. That, if confirmed, will be a big positive news for the country and will be a huge tourist attraction that we can, capitalize on top of the world's goodwill for our country. So we are continuously searching for opportunities to partner with organizations such as the organizations that are here today. We want to create a solid structure for your philanthropic investment. And we want to create that structure to be aligned for greater impact. And ultimately fulfilling our vision through an inclusive strategy, for you to come into our strategy and help us bolster it. So I gave you a glimpse of where we are in the macroeconomic situation. I'll give you a glimpse of what we're doing for social solidarity, because this government believes in helping the most vulnerable, and we believe that it is our duty as a government, which has not been done in the past, to have a social assistance program for the most vulnerable, for the Haitians that have been disadvantaged, that have been suffering, and that never had the opportunity. And the only opportunity for some was to leave Haiti, because the government, the system never cared for the most vulnerable. So for that, we have done 4 things in the social solidarity and social justice aspect. One is we put together countrywide, a national, massive free education program that also serves as a poverty alleviation program. Because if you look at the GDP per capita of Haiti, about $750, you look at the cost, the yearly cost per child in school, which is $200, and when you see the average Haitian family has 4 children, you will see that just in education fees alone, you will have at least 2 children or 1 or 2 children that will be kept out of school for lack of resources of the parents. So this was a key poverty alleviation program, and over $50 million have been invested to pay the tuitions for those school children. Then we moved into the social assistance program with a program that helps the mothers, the handicapped, students from university that are in bad shape, to assist them and give them a push. So that program has touched over 2 million beneficiaries in order to help them get out of this cycle of never getting any help or any assistance. And in societies such as the United States, you have food stamps and you have Social Security, and then you have a safety net for the ones that has nothing. Well, in Haiti, there was no such safety nets. In a country that has extreme poverty, there was no safety net. So we created, with the means that we had, a safety net, and today that benefits 122,000 mothers, 25,000 handicapped, and over 2 million people have benefited one way or the other from that social assistance program called Help the People. Then, faced against a situation of hunger in many parts of the country, we developed a countrywide network of community restaurants where we sell the plate of food for $1. And we're feeding over 125,000 people every day in those. And this we're talking on a 24-month period. So faced with the daunting challenge of rebuilding a country that was devastated, we had to take care of the needs of those that needed it the most immediately. So we went into that. Today we're signing an MOU with Harvard Medical School in order to develop a network of community pharmacies. And also, this is something that we are counting on all of you also to see and to support, because you have 134 communal sections that have no pharmacies. So if they have a headache, or finding an aspirin is a great challenge. If somebody has stomach ache, for them to find a Pepto-Bismol is impossible. So this is what we're talking about, is to providing the basic drugs at an affordable cost in the most difficult and underprivileged areas of the country. And that was signed, that will be signed today with Harvard Medical School. So it's a great challenge, but it's one that we're facing with dedication, patience, because every day we understand that the progress needs to happen one project at a time. For us to succeed, we need to succeed one action item at a time, because we have a $13 billion in damages after the earthquake, and we only had we only found about 300 to 400 million to reconstruct. So the deficit was great. Some of you will say, okay, what about all the aid money? The aid money, $9 billion were pledged, half of it came in, and 99% of it went to emergency relief, which was needed at the time. So the nation building has not arrived yet. So we had to use the funds available at our disposal in order to do what we're doing now in the reconstruction aspect. One, is we're rebuilding out of 42 ministries, which was 100% of all our public administration was down. We're rebuilding 10. We are rebuilding, renovating about 700 kilometers of road in the country. There is 200 healthcare facilities being built or renovated today. There is 2 tourist destinations being developed, one in Jacmel, the other one in Île-à-Vache, as we're supporting the northern part. We're supporting also the U.S. government and working closely with the IDB to develop the Caracol Industrial Park, which already has 2,000 jobs today in the Caracol area, and strengthening the other industrial park that we have in the area to create more jobs. We are building 5 airports, building or renovating 5 airports. 2 seaports are being built. The Port-au-Prince seaport is being fixed, and the Lekai is being done. And we're finalizing negotiations with the U.S. AID to do the port in Cap Haitian, which will bring much needed economic relief to the area. We built 10 emergency hurricane shelters, as Haiti is hurricane prone. There was no hurricane shelters. We have 10. 25 sports centers, because all the sports centers that we had were filled with people, victims of the earthquake, living in the tents. So we had to clear the tents and fix the place and build new ones. So investment in agriculture was, buying tractors and mechanizing the agriculture for our farmers. So I'm giving you a glimpse of the development strategy and the development of Haiti and what's been happening. But I'm also calling on your continued support. Your continued support is key to us, is key to consolidating the progress that has been achieved. Because a lot of effort has been done, and we congratulate you for that after the earthquake. But in order for the country to keep getting better, in order for us to continue to stabilize the country, we need your involvement now more than ever. Because we are no longer, of course, at the extreme emergency period, but we're still in an emergency period for the development and the nation building of the country. So, for example, I was talking to Pierre Noel. He told me that he had a 5-year mandate for the Haiti Fund, which is exactly the 5-year mandate that President Martelly has. But after that 5 years, we still need your commitments, and we still need you to stay engaged, because everything that you all have done has contributed to the progress where we are today. But if everybody just packs up and leave, the risk that our development slows down or that we slide a little bit back is there. So we want to work with you, understand some of the challenges that you have, help solve them so that you are at ease to continue to support Haiti. I know you support, and I gave you a few examples how best you can support Haiti. But what you've been doing, we encourage you to stay the course, not to get discouraged. So I don't know if the Haiti Fund, is going to have the 5-year mandate or what's going to happen after. Pierre told me that he's willing to have another 5-year mandate, but that's something else. So support our recovery plan, because it's important to us. It's important, it goes straight to our heart that you leave your family, your children, and that you go down to Haiti, spend time, long hours, into making Haiti a better place. But I encourage you to do so, not for 5 years, not for 10 years. I encourage you to do it indefinitely, because that's what we'll need. We need the support of everyone to succeed, and I mean everyone. We cannot spare one person in our effort to develop and make that country a better place. So as it's safer, as the country is reconstructing, as we are helping the most vulnerable, as we're building better schools, better hospitals, the private philanthropy will be better coordinated in order to achieve greater impact and greater success. So I want to end my remarks by, again, looking at each one of you and thanking you from the bottom of my heart and the heart of the Haitian people for what you're doing on a daily basis. Keep it up and don't give up. Thank you.
Let's put our hands together again for the Prime Minister. That was, thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank
MCTV, Multicultural Television Network, canal 283 sous Comcast. Oui, li possible et nous voulons faire ensemble avec vous. Chaîne déjà disponible, MCTV, canal 283 Comcast, staff technique sous place, équipement dernier cri installé. MCTV couvrit toute Massachusetts. Sauti Lynn pour arriver Bridgewater, en passant par Somerville, Cambridge, Medford, Everett, Malden, Boston, Waltham, Dedham, Milton, Quincy, Randolph, Stoughton, Sharon, Weymouth, Rockland, Brockton. Une opportunité pour nous produire propre émission panneau, live ou en différé. Surtout avec assistance technique, une équipe professionnelle chevronnée pour aider nous produire des émissions de qualité. Studio MCTV localisé dans Randolph, 247 North Main Street, Harbor One Bank Building, téléphone 781 986 1000. Prix abordable. Pour information, relais Yves Cajus 781 986 000 ou bien 508 498 02 00 ou bien encore Julio Midi 617 470 19 12. Nous invitons tout haïtien garder MCTV canal 283 Comcast dans l'émission Caméra Mosaïque préparée par Yves Cajuste samedi et dimanche soir 8h-10h dans la région métropolitaine Boston. Et pour même dans la zone métro sud, Brockton, Randolph, Milton, Waltham, Dedham, émission pour la vie nous chaque dimanche de 8h à 9h du soir.